The 2011 Allied Trade Inductee is Dan Goldman. Dan was born in Warsaw, Poland in 1946 to Mary and Julius Goldman. His life, right from the beginning, was blessed with good fortune. His parents were among the few Polish Jews that survived the Holocaust. Without this good fortune, he would not be here today. After Dan's birth, Julius moved his young family from Poland to West Berlin. In late 1950, the Goldman family immigrated to the U.S. and landed in Brooklyn, New York. In 1951, with $10,000 in savings, Julius moved the family again. This time it was to sunny California, where he bought a small egg ranch in Van Nuys. This was another stroke of good luck, as the land soon became very valuable and Julius was able to sell the property for a large profit. He used the funds to buy more land in Moore Park, a small suburb north of Los Angeles, and began developing Julius Goldman's Egg City, which eventually became the world's largest egg production facility. Dan had a wonderful American graffiti childhood growing up in the San Fernando Valley. Like many other teenage boys, he spent many nights at Bob's Big Boy Hamburger, which happened to be a great place to meet girls. He also spent many a summer's day at Sorrento Beach, where he learned to surf. After graduating from UCLA with a degree in philosophy in 1967, Dan entered law school at UC Berkeley and became part of the wild and crazy 60s. After 1 year, he realized that law was not his calling. Instead, he decided to buy a Volkswagen bus and spend the summer traveling throughout Mexico. It was there he met his true love, Candace. Soon after returning to California, Dan and Candace moved to Lake Tahoe and spent 3 years enjoying life in the Sierras. In 1972, they married and soon began their family. With the birth of their son Eli, Dan and Candace decided to move the family from Lake Tahoe to the small town of Nipomo near San Luis Obispo. Here they joined the family's egg production business. On the property there was approximately 50,000 square feet of vacant chicken houses. One day the bottled water delivery man suggested converting them into greenhouses. Dan thought this was a great idea, so he enrolled in the Ornamental Horticulture Department at California Polytechnic University, San Luis Obispo in 1974 to get some training. As part of his schooling, Dan went on a field trip to Gallup and Stribling Orchards of Santa Barbara, where Dan had the good fortune to speak with Dan Collins, the president of the foliage division. During their brief conversation, Dan learned that there was a shortage of propagation material, and at the suggestion of Mr. Collins decided to go into producing rooted cuttings. Mr. Collins offered to provide the stock plants and became Sunborn Nursery's first customer. In 1975, Sunborn became a reality. Like it is now, Sunborn was a family business. As the nursery took form, Dan decided to focus on growing pothos, cissus, and ficus benjamina, and was instrumental in establishing Hawaiian large-leaf pothos, jade pothos, and cissus mandiana in California. In 1989, Dan and Candace made the decision to move the business and their family to the San Francisco Bay Area, since that was where most of their cuttings and the finished stock plants were sold. This turned out to be a big step up for the business because they were vacating converted chicken coops turned greenhouses and moving into a state-of-the-art greenhouse complex built by the city of San Francisco in conjunction with a sewage treatment plant. What made the new facility really great was the fact that the heating system for the greenhouse was designed to utilize the methane gas byproduct from the sewage treatment plant. Thus, that made possible unlimited free heat. What a grower's dream! Another big change happened in 1991, when Dan decided to shift the focus of the nursery from producing plant material to distributing interior foliage plants to the Interiorscape industry. His many years as a grower made Dan unique as a distributor and liaison between the production nurseries and Interiorscape companies. For Dan, success in business is a win-win process. He clearly understood that if he supported his customers and helped make them successful, he too would be successful. This way of thinking remains a big part of Sunborn's core purpose and continues to inspire improvements at Sunborn. In fact, all of the products and services that Sunborn Nursery now carries were selected and developed by asking his customers how to make them successful and their job easier. For example, all of the plants that come to Sunborn from growers around the country are drenched with a wide-spectrum systemic and beneficial nematode mixture to treat against and protect plants from insects such as scale, mealybugs, spider mites, and thrips, as well as to kill fungus gnats and their larvae. In addition, all plants leaving the facility are trimmed and washed with horticultural oil so that they are installation ready. This added service and attention to the customer makes Sunborn unique and contributes to the company's ongoing success. 20-plus years later, Sunborn has sales close to $6 million and 25 employees, and has evolved into one of the nation's premier suppliers of plants from Hawaii, Florida, and California to the Interiorscape industry. It houses, under its 45,000 square foot greenhouse, perhaps the largest selection and inventory of plants, containers, and supplies for the interior plantscaper in the United States, and has become truly a one-stop shop. Dan's son Eli joined the company in late 2007 after spending 12 years working in research and development and management for a large pharmaceutical company. Eli has brought with him enthusiasm, youth, and a skill set that will serve the company well as it looks to expand into new product lines, customers, and delivery routes throughout the U.S. and Canada. At the present moment, Sunborn Nursery has a fleet of box trucks and semis that deliver plants throughout Northern California, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. Eli was also instrumental in launching a new delivery route to Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, and Florida, which has been quite successful for the company. Soon, Sunborn hopes to be launching new delivery routes to the Midwest and Northeast. In addition to Eli, Candace is also an integral part of the company and serves as the chief designer and CFO. Her background in art and design has been a true asset to the company. While Dan has always focused on his business, he also served for 10 years as the Allied Trade Representative of NCPPA, Northern California Professional Plantscape Association, which evolved into CIPA. He always promoted the idea of the association becoming a national association. This eventually became a reality with the formation of PIA.